What's going on, Conscious Crew? Happy Saturday. Welcome to another riveting episode of the Consciouztv platform. Hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend, honey. It is a beautiful day in the Alabamas. And, girl, we just got an old nasty piece of confessional from Miss Real Housewife of Atlanta, Kenya, gone with the wind more, baby. Who done gone with the wind, and the wind dropped her ass off in the unemployment line. My God, today, child, we got to get into it. Before we do so, go ahead and thumbs up the video until it's absolutely stuck. You guys know that thumbing up the video not only helps with YouTube's algorithm, but more importantly, it triggers up YouTube's notification system. So when you are thumbing up the video, you are literally knocking on the digital door of another Conscious Crew member and telling them to get their black asses into the sanctuary. Oh, what's up? Make sure that you have your notification bell set to all. Shout out to all of the new subbies. All donation information, of course, is in the description box below. $ Consciouztv on Cash App and or paypal.me/Consciouztv, spelled just how it is here on the platform. And once again, please share the stream out to wherever it is you have digital community, whether that be your YouTube community wall, your Instagram, your Snapchat, the dark side of Twitter, Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't really give a damn where you in fat leather lane. Just let them whores know that we're loud, we're live, and we are certainly in color. With no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What's going on, Conscious Crew? Happy Saturday. What's going on, Carolyn? Hey, Brit. Hey, Linda. Hey, Sade. What's going on, Sherry? What's going on, Glamorous? Hey, the Sector Inspector. What's going on? Hey, everybody. Hey, how are you? Happy Saturday, girls. I was just sitting here parlaying and just got into Miss Kenya Moore's full-on soliloquy and diatribe about this Real Housewives of Atlanta drama between her and newbie Brit Eady, who she allowed to get her ass fired when she overplayed her hand by revealing very scandalous, explicit images of Brit Eady during her infamous spa opening. You guys know that there has been a trillion little fires that have been given birth to as a result of this controversy. You guys know that Portia and Kenya have exchanged words online due to Portia's recent YouTube confessional herself, where she claimed that one of the current castmates gave Kenya Moore Brit Eady's explicit images, which Kenya Moore responded to and denied. She is still sticking to the fact that her quote-unquote investigators gave her those explicit images of Brit Eady. You guys also know that Kenya and Cynthia are not on speaking terms right now, according to Cynthia, who called out her friend to her face in real time and has also kept that same energy in the hereafter, and just really felt like Kenya Moore's behavior was completely tacky and unbecoming, and Kenya should know better because she is a veteran of the show, child. Okay, so how you fall for the classic banana in a tailpipe, hook, line, and sink. I mean, how? Okay. And you guys know that Kenya and Brit have continued to go back and forth as well. Kenya Moore has been on a small press junket, such as the Tamron Hall show, where she broke down in alleged tears and stated that she regrets her behavior, blah, blah, blah. When the real reality is Kenya Moore doesn't really give a damn about what she did. She's just sorry that she did it at the spa. Okay. Maybe she should have did it at More Manor. You know, maybe she should have did it at Chateau Charest. Okay, maybe she should have did it, you know, at the local 7-Eleven, child. Maybe she should have did it, you know, at Nene's foreclosed ass $1 million home. Anywhere but More Manor. Okay. But she really doesn't per se regret showing the images, just when and where she showed those images at. Now, Kenya did a pre-recorded YouTube video, girl. Shout out to all the housewives who, you know, are just pushing through the YouTube veil, girl. Nene Leakes got 2 different damn shows going on her YouTube channel. Portia just started her shit. You know, all the Married to Medicine bitches are, you know, on YouTube. And now Kenya Moore is joining the ranks, girl, okay? Because work gots to be honest, but more importantly, baby, it got to pay the goddamn bills, in the words of Funky Dineva. And I really felt like, you know, the irony of it was Kenya Moore titling this video as the confessional they tried to silence, and really it's also the confessional she could have kept, baby. Okay. This tell all, this confrontation, this, you know, Kenya finally speaking, it was uneventful. It had no new information. It was kind of goofy. And, you know, I'm completely underwhelmed and actually embarrassed for, you know, and actually, hold on. This is a Kenya Moore supporter calling me right now. I'm on live dragging your hoe. So I'm gonna call you when I get off. You also can join and defend her likeness if you want to. Okay, I'll call you as soon as I'm done. All right, bye. So Kenya, you know, sat in her beautician chair, girl, and basically told a whole bunch of nothing. Let's just get into a few things that she said, girl. Then I'm gonna give my 1-2, and then I'm gonna drop the link and let you guys sound off, girl. Okay, so one of the things that she went into is talking about how she did tell production that she was shooketh, girl, that she was scared to her coreth, girl, that, you know, she, you know, needed a bulletproof vest, girl, because, you know, it was given stranger danger on set. And pretty much, you know, claimed that production didn't do anything, but she did run immediately to production. My question also, since Kenya Moore's running theme about this issue with Brit, and Brit referencing her pistol, her whips, her lions, tigers, and her bears, oh my, is that if you were as shooketh and as scared for your life, why didn't you also run your ass down to the police department? Why didn't you file a protective order against Brit? Why did you not do all of the other things that people do logically when they literally perceive a substantive physical threat to their lives? I mean, are we not learning anything from Carmelo Anthony? Okay, that's what being scared looks like, girl. Okay, scared and armed and dangerous and ready to get active and neutralize the threat by any means necessary. Not that I'm saying that Kenya should have stabbed Brit ass straight through the heart or anything, child. But, you know, when you are genuinely scared, girl, fear turns into a reasonable verb. So if she had the wherewithal, the bandwidth, and the Wi-Fi to run on down to the producers out of quote unquote fear, why didn't you also follow that up with all of the other protocol and resources that you had accessible to you if you really believe that somebody threat was substantive and you were literally concerned about your well-being? Why didn't Kenya go to the authorities? I don't understand why she didn't shake the table harder. Kenya Moore lacked such substance to her claim of fear that she didn't even mandate the producers to keep Brit away from her, or else she would take legal action, which is why Brit Eady was able to walk right on through the spa doors, and Kenya, you know, wasn't even remotely really bothered because she was ready to gag her, if anything. You know, she allowed Brit to walk right up on her. She didn't even have Brit formally escorted. She trusted this person she's claiming is so dangerous. It's so violent. She's so scared. She trusted that same person to casually see herself on out of her spa. No, ma'am. If you were that shook up and that scared and that paranoid, and you believe that this woman was capable of popping your ass and sending you to the Father, Son, and the Holy Daughter prematurely, girl, you would, even if you would have had to personally escort her out and close the doors behind her to make sure that she could not re-enter the premise, that's what she would have did. Kenya Moore didn't even as much as look through the peephole to make sure that Brit ass, you know, was on the other side of the wall. She didn't even as much as go look out the window to make sure that, you know, Brit was pulling the hell off and peeling the hell off, girl, from the parking lot. No, nothing, child. Okay? So I'm just trying to understand why Kenya Moore, if according to her, there was a high level of fear, paranoia, and concern for her personal safety, and the producers had felt her, who she claimed she initially sounded off to, why she did not also go and explore all of her other resources, such as getting the law involved and laying down that paperwork on Miss Brit Eady's ass. Okay? Now, she also had brought up an old clip of Brit, you know, sitting down on somebody's podcast. This was prior to Real Housewives of Atlanta, where Brit was talking about how she carries her firearm on her person everywhere that she goes. And rightfully so. Brit is a Black woman. She is a minority woman. From the racism to the police brutality to the femicide of it all, girl, Brit is just as much in her right, and I actually am happy that she is licensed to carry and that she is armed and motherfucking dangerous. That's exactly why Kenya got a personal Glock in her damn Nike box in her motherfucking home, okay? Because she too is a minority woman, and all minority women, all minority persons should be armed and dangerous reasonably, girl, which is why I'm also not mad that Carmelo Anthony had something to his availability to defend himself in the hypothetical of, you know, a violent situation that he might have needed to get himself out of, and clearly it came in handy. So Brit, being a woman, carrying a gun or being armed and dangerous, yes, God, I'm here for that. I really don't understand the connection between Brit acknowledging that she has a firearm. I mean, hell, she acknowledged that in the scene that she got pistols and whips. So, I mean, I didn't really understand the relevance of the scene unless Kenya Moore was trying to prove that it might have been possible that Brit also had the weapon on her persons or in her proximity, or that the weapon was like accessible in that moment. And once again, if Kenya Moore really believed that, you take time to edit clips, you take time to outsource for this girl's mugshots, for her explicit pictures, you take time to put together a damn PowerPoint presentation on the unbecomings of this woman's past. You took time to do all of this, but did not take time to run your ass down there to the police. If you really believe that this woman was capable and had the intent to pop you, it's just really not making no sense, even though Kenya is insisting upon trying to make fetch happen. Kenya Moore also has doubled down on the fact that nobody in the circle, no mingly, no sister wife sharing ex-boyfriends with other sister wives, no lesbians on the basketball wives. Nobody gave her these images, that these images of Brit Eady are searchable, findable, verifiable, girl. All you got to do is go to Miss Google, child. She said that as she obtained these images per her quote unquote investigators, that she also has spoken to a local attorney, girl. And I really hope it wasn't Phaedra, because the fact that you fired, girl, is given that the local attorney that you consulted with, girl, with Miss Phaedra Parks, which in the words of Cynthia, can't win a case, girl. So, you know, the fact that this unnamed local attorney apparently gave Kenya the green light because these images were simply accessible, which means that they were okay to use. Kenya Moore is still missing a huge middle ground to her argument. Revenge porn has nothing to do with accessibility, my love. It wouldn't matter if Brit Eady's explicit images were plastered on a Georgia billboard. Revenge porn is in the context of malicious intent, malicious dissemination of said footage or images. It has nothing to do with whether the images are available or not. It's all about the context in which you are disseminating and or putting that content on display. I don't know why Kenya Moore keeps like running around that, and she keeps really trying to evade and avoid that point. You put those images on display on national television before a live audience with the intent to publicly humiliate Brit. That is what makes it revenge porn. It being accessible on every mainstream adult site is completely irrelevant to the context of revenge porn. So, you know, this is the type of half-ass thinking that got Kenya Moore in the predicament that she's in. And she's lucky that Brit Eady is not pressing the gas civilly and criminally, because Brit Eady could. You know, Brit Eady seems to be satisfied that Bravo clipped Kenya's ponytail, you know, and let her go. But, you know, she's lucky that Brit Eady isn't on another level of petty, because she could have some real issues going on down there to Moore Manor. Also, as I said in my previous live stream, my whole thing with this claim about these images of Brit are accessible and Googleable is fascinating. That between, what's the young lady, y'all, from Basketball Wives that Brit also claims is holding private images of her in her phone. What's the lady that Brit had got into it? What's the name of that lady? Let me see if I can find because I think she showed this snapshot. What's the lady, child? Mingley. My whole thing is that if these pictures are accessible, I find it fascinating that between Mingley nor Kenya, that they won't at least personally text Brit and give her the links. Give her the links. If this corn is so available, it's so easily, and it's still up, give her the direct hyperlinks. Give her the URLs. Nobody has provided the direct links to this popular, available, explicit content of Brit. But yet everybody's claims is that it's online, it's online, it's online, it's still there, it's still there, it's publicly available, it's publicly available, it's publicly available. But neither one of them have provided a publicly available hyperlink to Brit to dispel this notion that these pics weren't extracted from Brit's ex-boyfriend or were not extracted from someone within the cast, but are in fact readily available on the internet. So where are the hyperlinks? You know, and they don't have to give us the hyperlinks, but I find it interesting that they won't give Brit Eady these URLs and these hyperlinks to where this content is quote unquote so readily available. Make it really make sense. Now, Kenya also went on to say that, nobody searched or checked Brit as it relates to the infamous night where the pistol and whips comments were made, and that Bravo did not open up an investigation until 3 weeks after the fact. And despite Brit saying that she did not have a firearm on her persons at the time, Kenya is saying that we can't believe Brit because Brit is already a proven liar based upon the fact that Brit did reference the pistol in the clip, even though Brit initially denied it. But the problem with Kenya's argument that Brit is a liar is that she herself also initially denied even showing these pics at the event of Brit. So the whole damn argument falls apart because y'all both are liars and y'all both lied. Brit denied any references to a GUN, etc., and you absolutely denied showing explicit images of this lady, only for the beautiful being footage to roll. And then here's the bigger gag. Kenya literally said and admitted, even in this confessional that she should have kept to her damn self, that she did escalate the situation and seemingly justified escalating it based upon these GUN threats. But why would you escalate a situation with a bitch you believe wanted to pop you? Because you can't be the victim and the antagonist all at the same motherfucking time. You can't rev up this argument that you were so scared, you were so shook, you was suffering from PTSD, you was just scared for your life. This lady had a GUN, y'all don't know her, she's a stranger, she has a weapon on her person, etc. But let me go give this woman an indefinite reason to pop me. Let me go run and antagonize, provoke, and arouse, and give this woman more reasons than what she feels she already has to go and pop me. How does that make sense? You cannot be the proverbial victim in the situation and at the same time using the narrative of I'm scared while also trying to be a bad bitch in the situation and out embarrassed, outdo her. So she threatened you with a pistol and then you go and revenge corn her. That's not consistent, Kenya, with someone who's scared, my love. That's not consistent with someone who is concerned that someone may want to take their lives. Is that you're going to jump your ass even further down the rabbit hole and antagonize the shit out of this damn lady who allegedly has a Glock, a Barbie-sized Glock in her purse. And the logic in your mind to rectify that threat against your life is to go and fuck with this lady and embarrass her and gaslight her into doing the very thing that you fear she could have did the night that she referenced lions, tigers, and bears in her purse, girl. Like, Kenya, get away from me with this. Get away from me with this. She confronted this notion that she doesn't ever take responsibility. So she brought up the fact that she had apologized to Kim Fields on Watch What Happens Lives for pulling out Kim's chair from underneath her. She also brought up the fact that, she made up and apologized to Phaedra on the show when she had overstepped some of her boundaries with Phaedra by, flirting with Apollo, who was Phaedra's husband at the time. And she claims that, people conveniently forget these instances in which she has taken responsibility for her behavior. But she couldn't even talk about taking responsibility for the situation with Phaedra without also talking about how Phaedra did her fair share of dirt to her too. Okay. The producer asked her, to comment on Cynthia. She said, she didn't want to speak on Cynthia. Good. Okay, good. Because Cynthia understood the assignment and did what needed to be done by telling you that you was out of motherfucking order. And she was trying to save your bag by calling you to the front lines, okay? A true friend should be able to call you on your fuck shit. She then further deflected from the whole revenge corn by bringing up the fact that other women of Bravo have also did the same thing on the other Housewives franchises and were not fired or were not villainized, etc., girl. So once again, justification, as I said, Kenya Moore does not see anything wrong with what she did, nor illegal about what she did. She only feels bad for doing it at her spa event. Okay, that's the only thing she feels bad about, baby. So all in all, two things can be true at the same time. I've watched the first 3 episodes of Housewives. I'm still probably not going to watch this season entirely or be committed to it. But, two things can be true at the same time. Kenya, you out of order and you're wrong. Period. Point blank. What you did is illegal and it is revenge corn. And I don't give a damn what local attorney told you that because the images are accessible on the internet that it was fine for you to display them. Maybe that would have been okay if that's all you had have done is reveal the images. But because you revealed the images maliciously, because you revealed that content, that explicit content from the context of revenge and being retaliatory, that's what makes it revenge corn. But it's also very clear that Brit is a weirdo and she's a hater and she is completely fucking pressed. That is very clear. Brit has a stick up her ass for Kenya and has had a stick up her ass for Kenya since being on the show. It's given very much so single white female. It's given very much so obsessed girl. It's given very much so hand that rocks the cradle. Brit definitely is given like a very much so toxic attachment style girl, parasocial dynamics between her and Kenya girl. Like she's really is pressed boots and really want to be picked and chosen by this woman. And because she's so deeply insecure and inferior, she is nitpicking at every little thing that transpires between her and Kenya girl. Like Kenya can't even hug this woman to, with one arm to avoid girl getting her blush and rouge on her dress without Eady feeling like, oh, the hug was shady, girl. Oh, the hello was shady, girl. Or the compliments, girl, are shady. Girl, Brit Eady, miss me for this, girl. Okay, miss me with this, baby. Baby, you ain't even been shaded yet, bitch. Okay, if you already feeling shaded in situations where everything actually is casually good, everything is at a surface level genuine, and okay, girl, I don't know how your mental health sis is gonna hold up, baby, when the shade rolls into town, baby. Okay, when the shade storm finally twirls on into town, baby. Okay, I don't know whether Brit, rode in on a very short bus, but something is given like all of the lights are on, but nobody's in the room. Something is clicking and it's clicking down when it comes to Brit. Okay, and the fact that she apparently is a beard in her marriage, girl, makes Brit's existence even more bizarre. Child. So Brit is giving hater vibes. She is obsessed. She is press boots. She obviously wants there to be a issue where there is not. And she decided that she wanted to be a formative opponent and foe to Kenya. Okay. Kenya, though, did fuck up when it came to the revenge coin situation. She didn't think that as through and through and as by and by as she should have. Bravo terminating her or suspending her for the season, I think is justifiable. You know, the law was literally broken, whether Brit takes up the matter legally or not, the law was still broken. And I'm not convinced, as I said prior, that Kenya is indefinitely fired. I think they'll more than likely roll Kenya ass back in, not next season, but season after next, if Atlanta Housewives makes it that far in. You know, they'll do a soft launch of Kenya. She'll more than likely roll in as a friend of the show and then be given a full peach. And Brit might get one more damn season out of Housewives, girl. Maybe one more, girl. Maybe one more, child. So that's what I had to say. I'm going to drop the link in case you guys want to sound off and not we out of here. I just wanted to come and give my 1-2 on the situation, and I'll read some comments. I just dropped the link for anybody to roll up. Thumbs up the video, you guys. Make sure that you guys are sharing, and all donation information is in the description box below. All right, so let me get into the comments. Hey, y'all. Hey, rumors. Kenya lied about the pics knowing she did it in front of a darn crowd. That part, like, delusional. Brit's teeth rode the short bus, too. Oh, my God. Today. Ebony says they do scrap on the Real Housewives of New Jersey. LOL, but still, dang, Kenya. Baby. Maybe if she stopped doing it, she wouldn't have to be apologizing all the darn time. Kenya's confessional video is a mixed bag for me. She apologized, but she deflected to Phaedra a couple of times. Yeah, she ain't apologizing. Kenya Moore was very clear that she is only sorry for doing it at her spa. She's only sorry. She's only sorry for doing it at her spa, girl. She is not sorry for showing them pictures. She only sorry for when and where she did it at. Hey, rumors.
Hey, Conscious.
What's going
on? Hey, crew. Happy Saturday, everyone.
Happy Saturday.
So, yeah, I'm not. I ain't feeling bad for neither one of them. Clearly, Brit. Brit was the antagonist.
Yeah.
But I've been looking at this thing since it. Even before it aired.
Yeah.
I've been looking at this like this is really karma, like Kenya's karma. So heavy. Kenya has done a lot of fucked up shit on this show. It is my personal belief that when she came onto the scene, now granted, she has been good TV, but she turned the tides of the show, in my opinion. Very, very dark. And I just feel like Brit.
Hold on for 1 second, boo. Hold on for 1 second. A Florida girl, I see you in the background, but it's saying that your device won't connect. I don't know if you ever used StreamYard before, so you may have to give like StreamYard permission to access your microphone and your camera, even though you can cam down after you give it permission. But I can see you in the background, but it's not letting me bring you up because it's saying device is not connected. So look at your phone and see if you need to give StreamYard permission. If not, you may have to drop down, and then I drop the link again, and you try to come back up. Okay, go ahead, rumors.
Hold on. I was saying that she changed the energy of the show. A lot of her behavior has been very, extremely like antagonistic. It hasn't been, regular shade. She has been able to give, the traditional housewife shade, but she has gone to the extremes several different times. What she was able to do, though, was play victim quite successfully, because the narrative has been, well, she uses her words. Anything she's done, it hasn't crossed the line to anything legal, or well, not legal, but illegal, or she hasn't gotten violent. But in my opinion, Brit is literally a mini Kenya. Very much so. And it's crazy that she wasn't able to discern to see exactly what Brit was doing, and she let this woman trick her out of her spot. I think she was so focused on this being a new housewife, being a younger housewife, that she didn't pay attention to actually what Brit was doing, in a sense of, this chick is really moving you out of your spot. You're so bothered by the things that are not that relevant that you just really let her come and move you out your spot.
Mm-hmm.
And that shows the level of her insecurities coming into this season. As well, she wasn't an original, but as one of the longest housewives on the show. That just showed you that there were a lot of insecurities that she was carrying, because how did she let this woman come in and just move her out of her spot? Brit has gone. I think you said you only watched, what, 2 episodes or something?
I watch all the episodes so far. Mm-hmm.
So you've seen that she wanted to be Kenya. She wanted Kenya's spot. She wants to be the villain. Everything that she's doing gives very much Kenya more.
Mm-hmm.
She has no intention, no matter how crazy it makes her look. Kenya was looking crazy on several occasions, but this is what Brit's whole agenda was: out with the old and with the new. And I can't believe that Kenya did not see this to the extent that it was. Brit doesn't now. I'm not going to say she really doesn't care 100% what backlash she's getting, but she basically, it's like she almost damn near morphed into Kenya, the Kenya more that has been all these years. Yeah, I'm the antagonist, this and the third. I did wrong. I apologize, but I didn't deserve what you gave. And in reality, to a large degree, she did not deserve. She ain't no damn victim, but no, she did not deserve for Kenya to do it how she did it. Kenya should have been so much smarter by that. She should have had somebody come on the show, like a friend of hers or whatever, and exposed it doing the damn thing. It was just so many different ways she could have did it, but she had to be the one to do it. And now she cannot handle the consequences of her actions. So I don't feel bad for her.
Oh, what do you think about her being under the impression that she was fine in doing what she did because she consulted with a local attorney who told her that because the images were publicly available that she was in the green?
I feel like there could have been other ways of doing. Like, again, you have to think about some of the past situations on Housewives, particularly Atlanta. We had a whole situation where, even though it was false allegation, it was still allegations.
Mm-hmm.
We saw where they banned Phaedra. Like, regardless if there was truth to it, if there wasn't any truth to it, there was like a whole thing. And you know that when it comes, unfortunately, when it comes to people of color in any society, I don't care if it's within industry, I don't care if it's within entertainment, if it's in corporate America, like, we don't have the luxury of doing the same thing that others do. We don't. We know how hypocritical it could be, this and the third, but we don't have that luxury. I don't believe she spoke to an attorney and an attorney told her that, because the reality is something can be public, but how you choose to present it is what will make it revenge on. She was intentionally antagonistic by her displaying those images. She didn't do it to make, to have an awareness, have a conversation about prevention, how not to go down this road, make them doing something that you're going to regret later on, da, da, da. It wasn't any of that. It legitimately came with malicious intent. So that indeed is a form of revenge on. There's no way around it. So I don't believe that bullshit that she talked to an attorney and they told her it was okay. If that's the case, then she needs to fucking sue that lawyer.
Do you believe that Brit should have been reprimanded as well for referencing her lions, tigers, and bears?
No. I do think that the threatening and being I think there should have been some reprimanding, tongue tied. I do think she should have been reprimanded for her behavior in regards to even making a threat. I just find it funny. I don't know what production, maybe production was tied to Kenya. I don't know. But I do feel like they helped put a battery in her back. I don't understand though if the roles, I think if that would have been, let's say, i.e. Candy, and she would have felt threatened, I think there would have been some repercussions for Brit. I just feel like there are double standards, and it just all seemed very much like there was an issue between Kenya and production for it to have happened that way, like because it never seemed that there was ever any reprimanding for Brit. But
Now,
still, at the
from
end
what
of
I heard, apparently Brit did say she was reprimanded, but I guess didn't go into detail about what that looked like.
they are a bunch of liars, Conscious. So I mean, I don't expect for Brit not to say, because
Yeah,
that's
because
been
it
the
don't
backlash.
seem like it was any reprimanding when Andy already done said there was an investigation and they did not find any substance to
Yeah, they just
Brit's.
playing, to try to, make people feel, better. Oh, she did get reprimanded. I don't believe that whatsoever. But I do feel like when it's all said and done, Kenya is the vet out of the two. And Kenya should have known better. And she should have seen the writing on the wall. And she should have been able to identify. But to me, again, it's all karma. Like, people fail to realize how karma is going to forever spin the block with all of us. You should be able to see yourself in someone else, especially when you have been an antagonistic person since you came on the show. Brit literally took a whole page out of Kenya's book and played right in Kenya's face with it. Her own antics. She used Kenya's antics, and it worked.
And it worked.
I'm going on mute.
She mirroring the hell out of Kenya. How Kenya got worked by Kenya? I don't understand, baby. What's going on, Rashonda? Sound off, boo, and welcome to the platform.
Hey, Conscious. Hey, room. Hey, everybody.
Hey, Rashonda.
Can you hear us, Rashonda? Uh-oh. I think Rashonda might be having some audio issues.
Hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, I've been watching Kenya for a while, and she's just been doing the most. Now, remember, she had a husband and all that stuff. Now, it's funny that she don't want nobody playing in her face, but then she trying to play victim to all this other stuff, like somebody did something to her, ain't gonna get mad because the people, reprimanded her or fired her. It's like she like being in drama and like being the villain or something like that. And then she'll be like, I ain't do nothing. Yes, you did. Even with the situation, with the stripper, that was a hot mess. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is she has a history of doing this, and I guess she feel like, because I'm old school or whatever, I can get away with it, I can do whatever, and they probably sick of her and tired of her at this point, because remember, she's old. She's very old. So you think somebody would, that's up in age would have some sense. And when, and then, you can't be going on the internet talking about folks and putting out revenge on and all that stuff, because this stuff can come back on you, and people really can sue, and people can, you'll be, out of money and stuff like that. People still don't understand that it's wrong, and you can't be on there doing it, because that's somebody's name, that's somebody's character that you misrepresenting.
Absolutely.
So,
I do think that probably need to put some provisions in place, since this GUN thing keeps coming up, and just put out a memo that there will be no future references to a GUN. There will be no showing of a GUN on camera, and nobody is to talk about a damn GUN going forward. Nobody.
Right, because see, at the end of the day, when you do that, it's like you're bringing harm not only to that person, you're bringing to the show. You see what I'm saying? And you know, you gotta look at this. If they allow that stuff on there, they can be sued. You know, in the background because they are
And that's
allowed
why
it.
they had to reprimand Kenya, because a Brit was initially threatening suit. She was threatening to take up legal action. So I think that that's something that also compelled Bravo to say, hey, if we got to choose between me or Kenya, we're going to choose our damn selves. Kenya can go. Because we're
Yeah,
not about to let her sue the damn network, you know. So if we just need to let Kenya go for a season or two, then fine. We'll get rid of her ass.
and see, I know this firsthand. Let me tell you what they do, and I'm sure you're aware of this too, Conscious.
Mm-hmm.
They make you sign a waiver form.
Yes.
They make you sign a waiver form. If
Mm-hmm.
you do anything you ain't got no business doing, okay? They say they will take legal action. They say that in the paperwork, man. So I had to sign some papers for different things. So I
Yeah.
know this firsthand. So uh if they wanted to use your likeness and stuff like that, you gotta be careful what you do, what you say, how you move, because guess what? That's effect on their show. And they're not gonna have it. You see what I'm saying? Now
Yeah.
it'd be different. It'd be different if you was on your show, then you could do it how you want to do it. But you in somebody else's stuff, so you can't be
Exactly.
doing that.
She
That
should
was
have did that on OF. She should have had an exclusive OF show, only a fan show, and did whatever she was going to do if she was that pressed to do it. But you're right, doing it under the umbrella of Bravo is a whole nother thing. And let me tell you how Kenya really actually Killer alley oop the hell out of Brit had she just played her cards like an OG does. You already had the narrative because Brit had made the quote unquote references or the threats, whatever they were, about the pistols. All Kenya Moore had to do was lean completely into that victim card, and she probably could have successfully pushed Bravo to reprimand and suspend Brit. And Brit could have been the one sitting her damn ass out of a season rather than Kenya. All Kenya had to do was totally lean into the victim card entirely. Instead, she tried to rise up like Godzilla and out petty Brit, and then she ended up with egg on her face. But all she had to do was really continue to put the pressure on. She should have made that a part of her storyline. She should have told the producers, hey, if y'all don't do something, because I'm not filming with this bitch, I'm not seeing with this bitch in another motherfucking scene, I'm not talking to her, she's not invited to my spa, I am in fear of my life, and if you guys don't do something, I'm going to go to the police, I'm going to go to the authorities, and I'm going to do something about it myself. You guys are not going to have me in a toxic work environment. I'm okay with throwing shade. I'm okay with a bitch throwing blows on me every now and again. But I'm not okay with somebody threatening to unalive me and pop me with a pistol, etc. This is why I draw the line. If she would have played into, got her Karen on, she could have been the one to really get Brit up out of that spot.
Yes, because I'm gonna tell you guys the truth. I don't see how her releasing, like, showing those images, I don't see how that was a sign, like a sound off to I'm in fear of my life. It never gave that. It's like you wanted to expose her for being like, a typical hood rat or whatever, like, because that's the way you know what I'm saying? It is so weird because I'm like, okay, Brit is acting like you know what I'm saying, hood rat, but I don't see how you coincide that with anything sexual, because that's like her sexual performances and things of that nature has nothing to do with her making threats against you. That just like it just didn't work. And I'm like, I can't believe that this woman was dumb enough to think the audience was going to side with her in regards to how she chose to respond to the threat. That didn't have anything, like, it just didn't make any sense. I don't feel like this woman was afraid or
She wasn't.
Even I'm gonna be honest, even I don't think she was even offended by the mention of the GUN. I think it was more or less like this chick will not stop coming from me. Kenya couldn't seem to catch a breath when it came to Brit. Brit was doing what Kenya has always done, and I just feel like Kenya was taking it back because nobody has ever been. I don't care about Portia dragging her. Like, gotta give Kenya the credit. She's been a dynamic villain on the show. No one has ever been able to troll and antagonize like Kenya has successfully. No one. And so because of that, I think she was taken aback. Like, nobody sees how she's coming from me. Nobody's going to respond and have my back, because literally nobody really was having Kenya's back. Let's keep that real too. Kenya seemed like a fish out of water this season. She really did.
So to that point, how do you feel about Kenya saying in the confessional that that's because she was trying to do it differently this season? She was actually excited to meet the girls. She was on a different energy. She know what it's like to be a newbie. So she was actually going out of her way to try to set things up to be positive. Versus,
I just don't believe that. I believe that she's been able to do the things she's done because Kenya had the support of the previous staff. Candy was a big Kenya supporter. When you just look at it, Cynthia she's always had the support for the most part of the cast. The cast. But in this particular case, you know, with her and Portia, she knew Portia was coming back. But her and Portia, you just never know between the two of them. And again, we do know how production works. Someone has to be the villain. Someone has to be the victim. Someone has to be da-da-da-da-da. I think the way the new girls came in was a clear sign that it was a new day. And see, Portia could fit in with the newer cast because, look at the age difference. Yeah. I don't know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's more younger girls this season than it was ever before. Maybe the beginning of the show when it first seasons or whatever. But this is like a whole new set of cats. I don't think that she fell back or whatever the case may be because of what she's saying. I think Kenya was like a fish out of water. Kenya did not fit in. Like, no shade. Take away Charles Oakley's wife.
Mm-hmm.
The women on this cast, they like damn near city girls. True story.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of this show, they really cast a bunch of city girls. Kid don't fall into that.
And something else, rumors, I'm gonna add to that. I believe that she was jealous of the new girls because you got to remember she used to this, how things a certain way, and then when these new girls came in, she felt like the spotlight was taken off of her, so she felt like she had to do something to fit in and to be seen. She always liked to be seen.
That would have been, but that's the thing. She didn't think. That's what I'm saying. I know it came from, like, she almost was desperate, and she pulled the junkie stunt that would have worked probably with the older cast to a degree, but not with this. Like, again, these are like city girls. Like these women. Some of them I was aware, like the Kelly, I was aware of her through social media. I didn't think that she I couldn't see her as a housewife, but nonetheless, like, we're talking about Shamia, Portia, all of them, like, they really are city girls. They have a different vibe, a more youthful vibe, a more get out there and get it. They don't mind being, quote unquote, sugar babies, and what I'm saying, whatever. Kenya has always tried to portray herself as being more classy, elegant, always her nose is down when it comes to other people's sexual liberation and things of that nature. Kenya just did not fit in with this group. She just did not. And I think Kenya knew that. I think Kenya did her research and knew that she didn't fit in with these girls. And so I do believe that she didn't fall back trying to welcome them in or anything. I feel like Kenya did not. And I do believe that's why they brought Cynthia on. I believe they brought Cynthia on to make Kenya comfortable, because Kenya knew that she had nothing in common with these women on a grander scheme of things. Like, and it was going to be like pulling to, but I believe they didn't want to strap, because look what they did with New York. They got rid of everybody on New York, the whole cast, and brought in a completely new cast. And that has been not successful for that franchise. And I believe that's the reason why they kept Kenya and then brought Portia back to try to help. But Portia fits in with them. Kenya didn't. She knew it. And I think she knew her days was numbered, to be quite honest. I do believe I believe somebody in production put the battery. I do believe that part of it was on Brit too. Brit wants this opportunity in this moment. She wanted Kenya's spot. But I definitely believe that production put the battery in Brit's back to go after Kenya to the extreme. And Brit was just extreme with it, because a lot of her arguments just didn't make sense. It just didn't.
So do
It's
you
really
think?
good.
So do you
Go ahead.
think that? So do you think rumors that she did the porn as a result of to be well known or to get recognition, or did she do it out of spite? That's what I'm
What do you
saying. As
mean?
far as, like, for instance, like she just didn't like her, and so to get back at Brit, she decided to put that out there for her. Or do you think that she did it so she could be relevant, and this time knowing that she, her days were numbered? That's what I'm saying.
I believe that Kenya pulled the old junkie stunt. In all reality, Kenya has the only difference between this and that and in the past is that she actually had tangible proof to show, like something to put on display to show. But remember, she's called, well, they all have, but remember how she when she called Portia out for being a whore, right? Quote unquote. How she called out Marlo, even down to Phaedra, when Phaedra was supposed to seeing a guy, Mr. Chocolate. Like, she's always like tried to I don't know which one to call that, but she's always tried to weaponize women's right to live their life whatever way, sexual, liberation, adhere to this one is a whore, that one is a whore. She's always done that. Like, there's nothing new. I think if she would have had tangible proof, back then versus just hearsay, she would have displayed that for those women as well. This is nothing new of Kenya. People are like, oh my God, I can't believe she went that far. She has gone far in the past. Again, it was just, she could only use what was told to her. She didn't have any tangible proof. Now, if it's anything truth to what they're saying, Kenya Ben had these pictures from the very first time her and Brit Eady had got into it, because Ming Lee, that she's going to be, I think her name Ming Lee, I think, she's going to be appearing on Love and Basketball. Is that the name of that show, Shawnee O'Neal? Basketball Wives. Yeah, Basketball Wives. They're saying that she's the one that gave that to Kenya, because Kenya and her both had a mutual nemesis.
And she said that that's a lie, because that she got it from a party that they were at. It's not the same set of pictures that was apparently shown of Brit at the spa.
All I know, somebody lying.
Yeah, but somebody, you see how I think people like, okay, they're not the same pictures. How convenient. You still pointed her in the direction. Maybe you didn't give it to her. You gave her.
I do believe that there was some communications for sure. Yeah, that there was definitely some direction, because it's just like it's a little bit too convenient.
Maybe the pictures that you showed her were like, okay, not a good angle. And so you point, and she knew which direction to go in to get the video.
Is Ming Lee a part of the cast of Housewives?
No, she's gonna be on Basketball Wives.
Because who was Portia referring to when she said a member of the cast gave Kenya those pictures? Who the hell was the member she was talking about? Portia said
never know.
Video. She said a member of the cast gave her those pictures.
Well, it'd be interesting when the reunion come out to see who Portia talking about. But unless she was in one of the video, like not the video, but you know how they have the guests and the friends to the show. There's people like in the background, and they may not necessarily get, because they still be considered them people a part of the cast, even though they're be like friends to the show. So unless she made an appearance and they just did not, she didn't make the cut when it came down to viewing it, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't believe that. I believe it's just what it is. All these people living in Atlanta, they all have they all in the same circles, all got beef with each other, friends with this one. So it's all like this reality TV thing has, in my opinion, gotten out of hand. Because people do go to the extremes for the relevancy. Like, people really don't. I was just talking to somebody about that. People don't feel like just being yourself. Like, of course you need a villain or whatever the case may be, but you also need, you know what I'm saying, a quirky personality, you know what I'm saying, someone that's neutral, a boss bitch. It's more than just being a villain. It's more than just fighting, showing your ass, this, that, and the third. I don't know why that has become the popular thing to do, but people seem so desperate, in my opinion, when it comes to trying to be the it star. You know what I mean? Like the breakout star.
Mm-hmm.
And they do the most ridiculous shit ever, because it doesn't take that.
It really don't. You know what I'm saying? You can be yourself, y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all this. You can be yourself, and people will still come to you if you just be yourself. Why you gotta do all this crazy stuff, hurting yourself and then crying on social media and all that stuff just to get attention? My thing is, you know, people are so consumed with fakeness, they don't even know how to be real. That's what I think. Like, they love being fake, but then want somebody real to listen and hear them. But if you just take the time out to try to, you know, work on you and be yourself, then you won't have to have special attention from folks. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I think Kenya is trying to do. She's trying to get special attention because she knows she's not relevant and she's getting older by the minute. You see what I'm saying? And you know, the crazy part about this is her husband left her now. And she didn't like how that felt when they was all on social media, and yet she's still doing it, just like with the stripper. Now she like you said, far sexual wise, you know, she was trying to throw Phaedra and everybody else on the bus, talking about who he slept with and all that stuff. But when somebody came to her and they asked her a question about what she did with the stripper, she didn't have nothing to say. You see what I'm saying? So we'll never know what happened with that, because, you know, they're not going to reveal everything. But what I'm saying is, it don't take all that for Kendra to get recognition when, you know, because remember, she used to be a model and stuff like that. Now she older. She was that it girl back in the day. You see what I'm saying? She had, you know, she was all on TV shows and different things like that. Now that she older, people don't really, you know, check for her like that no more. You
But
see
you
what
know
I'm saying?
what, Rashonda, she has her own production company herself. Like, I don't want people to get it twisted. Kenya really is that it girl. I don't know why she's forgotten that. Kenya could have still been making these movies, they call them B movies, but it don't matter. It's a coin. She could have still been making movies. Kenya could have literally produced her own reality show, making herself the star. You understand what I'm saying? Because people were, and she do have a following, a fan base. People were and still are curious about what's going on with her life, her romantic life, her life as a mom, single mom, and the divorce I think they're still battling. The divorce and all of that. People, like, she has something, a story there, something to explain to people.
She had so many opportunities, even when she was on this whole dating, I need a husband thing. She probably could have did like Bachelorette. Like, she had so many opportunities to turn her situation into like to monetize and to really continue, you know, to do work. And I don't know why Kenya is not acting. Like, why is she still not acting in movies? We've seen her in Deliver Us from Eva and a few other projects. Like, Kenya seemed to have definitely.
Well, she has a reputation, Conscious. She does have a reputation of being a little difficult. You know, it's been
Oh, I
alluded to
didn't know
on the show for the years. Yeah,
Oh,
it's been
wow.
a no. When Nene first crossed over into Hollywood herself, then her and Kenya was going back and forth or whatever. Nene was hinted to it, and it was other like there have been other people that have said things about her too, Vivica Fox, etc. They've said things about her reputation in Hollywood as well, or whatever. But my point is, like, she ain't the only person that has been labeled that, or whatever. She has her own production company. She was making movies. Like, if nobody else wants to hire you, you can hire your damn self, or whatever. I don't know why. In my opinion, I think she got comfortable with Housewives because clearly she doesn't have to be the one to put up the money to do anything. They're paying for everything, et cetera, et cetera. I think she just got comfortable. And I feel like even though this is karma, this is also the universe trying to break her out of this comfortability and stagnation she has with Housewives. There's much more for her to do than this. And I think she needs to get out there and get the bag. Move the hell on from this. Like, this doesn't have to stop. Maybe you don't need to be in front of the camera right now and just work behind the scenes because you have the credentials for that. By all means, do it. But I think she needs a break from Housewives any damn way. I'm going on mute. Hey, homebody.
And she definitely getting that break. Hey, homebody. Sound off, boo.
Hey everybody. Hey Rumors. Hey Rashonda. Hey CTV.
Hey.
Hey chat. Yeah, I was listening to the video Kenya put on her channel, but I remember I was on Instagram and I saw the video post that she put up that there wouldn't be a video, and I was like, a fashion show with no fashions. How dreadful.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was listening to it, the first thing that stood out when I was watching it was it kind of seemed like a confessional, like how it would be on Bravo. Like, so it seemed like the whole entire 30-minute, maybe it was like 33-minute video she did. It kind of seemed like it was every confessional, like, they open up and they have a cute background, their hair and makeup is done, and they say the cute little jokes, except she didn't have the music soundtrack and the laughing background and things like that Bravo has. And at a certain point, she got a phone call and she was like, oh, excuse me, I gotta take this. And the cameraman didn't even like get to the call the way they do on Bravo. So it kind of just gave like a confessional, like a Temu confessional fail or something. I don't know exactly what she was doing. And similar to what you were just saying a second ago, Rumors, like there's so much more she can do. She has a production company. I don't know why she's doing this. I don't know if the production company that did this YouTube video is the same production company that did her workout video. Remember when her and Phaedra were competing with workout videos? Because
I think a
if
lot of
that's
these
the
shell projects are for the sake of storylines.
yeah, so I don't know that. I don't know. I guess I don't know if anyone else feels
The only
this
person
way.
who we know be having real business is Candy Burris outside the show.
Exactly. Who has a real business is
Mhm.
Candy and Miss Kim Fields. Miss
Mhm.
Kim Fields. Because she has an active show on Netflix. She's
She do.
getting residual checks and things. And that's the same lady
And
that
Kenya
Kenya.
claimed that she was even invited to do that show about Kim Fields herself, and that her and Kim are in good place.
Really?
Mhm.
Wait, did that show ever air? Did Kenya ever appear on the show?
She never said if she did it or not, but she did acknowledge that she was invited to do the show and that her and Kim are on good terms.
Oh, okay. I don't watch the show enough to see if I
Yeah.
caught Kenya on it, but I know Kim is out there killing it. Every season, Netflix is giving me a reminder. Oh, check this out. And there's Kim Fields. So she's come a long way from like being, pushed in that chair and things. And so, like, I guess I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but when I was watching the video with Kenya, I was trying to figure out, like, so where does she source her hair care products? Where is she competing with like Kaleidoscope with Big Booty Judy and Brett? I didn't understand or know anything about her product because she filmed the whole like video in her salon. I didn't leave knowing anything about it to purchase
Mhm.
it for my own hair. And so it just kind of felt like an extended documentary of a confessional. And so I don't know what to buy. Back to what rumors were saying, I don't know what
Mhm.
she's selling or doing. I don't know.
And then she blamed a lack of publicity and marketing for the spa on not being able to find the right team. But I'm like, you always can find a glam and wardrobe and everything else, but you can't find, out of all places, a marketing team in Atlanta. Out of all places, like, this is the small black mecca. This is the like black Hollywood, and you can't find the proper team or channel or resources to promote your spa. I don't. Can you stop?
I don't think Kenya had the money. It's my personal belief that the divorce has sucked her dry financially. It's been said numerous of times, that she said it herself, that she used her daughter's college fund, the savings, to open this spa, which is why a lot of people were taken aback. Like people that personally know her, Cynthia, were very taken aback. I think Kenya's having a lot of financial um troubles. And again, I think she became very dependent on Bravo to the extent of isolating and losing her own independence for the career that she had already built for herself. And when it's all said and done, I think that that will be, I don't know how long, maybe a year or two, but I do believe that's going to be something that she's going to reveal, that the divorce was sucking her dry financially. But there's so much, as you said, I agree, Conscious, because there are people that would not have charged her arm and a leg. You know what I'm saying? You always have people that are out there that's just looking for a shot and opportunity. Damn near will volunteer their services to make a name for themselves, to attach their name to hers because of the publicity that they could get. A lot of these people, as Homebody mentioned, like the real BB Judy, and all of them, they made friends. They networked with people that were in the beginning stages of their career and was able to utilize that. You do me a favor, I do you a favor. You put me on, I put you on, etc. It's networking. This is what I'm saying. Kenya had developed a reputation of being difficult in the acting world. They said she was very difficult to work with. And I can see that, because for her to have the experiences that she have, to have access to like a Candy. Like, Candy's not even one of my people. I don't really care for Candy, but I ain't gonna never take away that she's a boss ass woman. Like, there was no reason why Kenya could not have gotten Candy's assistant to help her promote her hair care line. She knows too many people in the
Yeah.
industry to not have gotten the assistance for people, because that's usually how it goes any damn way. People, celebrities today share each other's business. They help promote each other's business. I don't know why Kenya hasn't done that. So that lets me know
Rumors, if you
something
think
is
about it too, though, if you look back at the videos Judy used to do, Big Booty Judy and Brett, like they used to do like hood videos, like running up on
skit
people
and
with
shit.
their product, doing their hair. And so they used to do very obnoxious videos, which is, I think, the style Kenya followed originally when she was walking down the salon. Kenya more hair care with a marching band behind her. You know what I mean? And so like she was following that formula, but then it goes back to, I think, what you mentioned, like maybe she was hard to deal with and she couldn't network with these people, because her hair care brand has been around, God, I want to say 7 years, maybe 10, 7 or 10.
It ain't been 10.
Like
It ain't been 10, maybe about 5 or 6.
Oh, maybe 5
yeah,
or 6.
so it doesn't matter, long enough.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But it just still doesn't seem like it's at the place where it should be, with the backing and the advertisement that she gets from Bravo and the access that being on the show gets her, like you were saying.
I think
But Ty,
y'all. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Ty Dollar, I'm sorry, I just want to read that comment 'cause it says her hair care is still doing good, y'all. Laugh out loud. Like, no one is saying that it's doing well. It ain't
But
doing
somebody said
great.
they got it in a dollar store for $1. So
It ain't doing great. And that's
somebody
no shade or whatever the case may be. It should be doing well more than what it is doing. And she'll say, even like, y'all have to realize it wasn't just the product. She opened up a spa that she lost money on, that just was not making her, like, it wasn't making her no money, but she lost everything behind it. So she hasn't regained that revenue.
Right. And see, not only that, see, I think she don't like, I'm gonna tell y'all, be honest, y'all. I don't think she wanna work, she's so used to the revenue of housewives. She depending on that income. And she don't want to do extra stuff. Cause if y'all paid attention, when she got the revenue, remember when she got ready to do her house? And they was talking about how she was doing her house and stuff like that. She didn't want to renovate and stuff like that. So that's goes to show you she don't like to put in the work. Far as even though she got the spa and different hair care products and stuff like that, she depended on that money from housewives because she feel like she's comfortable and that's all she's know. You see what I'm saying? See, it's easy for her with the
Mhm.
housewife thing. But when you gotta go and do hair care products and stuff like that, it's work you gotta put in. You gotta be hands on, and that's what a lot of people miss out on. When you doing products and you trying to build a business, you got to put your hands and work into a business in order for it to flourish. If not, it will sink.
And you're right.
a lot of people
I
say
don't
that her
know.
salon or her spa be closed more than half the time. Like when they drive by, like it'd be literally closed. It'd be open only like maybe once or twice a week, but it'd be closed the majority of the time.
Oh, that's not the first time I saw that T Dollar. I think I read somebody say that they were talking about that online like a year or two ago when she initially
Mm-hmm.
opened it. Yeah. I was gonna say that so I bought products from Sally Beauty, from the Kenya Moore hairline, and I bought the shampoo, conditioner, and the mousse. There's like a hair mousse.
Yeah.
And I only washed my hair like once a month or every other month. And because I'm African, I have very like coiled hair. We don't put like a whole lot of shit in our hair all the time. And so like my hair is always braided a certain way. And so like whenever I do wash it, I usually have hair products on hand. Like I switch it out like maybe every 6 months. And so when I took my hair out, washed my hair with the product, nothing happened. I'm not going to say my hair fell out or anything. Nothing happened. I didn't really notice like any change as far as like softness or growth with it. But I'll tell you, when I skipped a month and then went back to wash my hair with the stuff again, it was like the consistency of it changed. So
Mm.
like the shampoo wasn't the same. The mousse, like the oil kind of separated from the cream,
Mm.
and it wasn't like it didn't seem like how kind of mousse like is supposed to seem to me how I'm used to. So then I never bought it again. But I'm not gonna say like my hair fell out or
Yeah.
anything like that. It didn't. But it was just like the product didn't last 60 or 90 days.
And you talking about Kenya's product?
Kenya's product, yeah.
But that's funny because I remember on I think the first season that she dropped the product, they was actually drinking the products at the showcase because it was nothing but water in
Oh,
the
I remember. Oh my god.
in the.
Portia and Kenya.
I was like, my God, today,
But
Jesus.
let me say this, y'all. If the reason why she feel that, um what I'm saying, you only as much as your brand. If you don't take the time to back your product, make sure that it's good, make sure that people like it and different things like that, what you expect? It will always fail. Because the thing about it is you're not putting work into it. And then she crying on TV about it's not doing good and different things like that. And then talk about she ain't got no money to do this and do that. But you got different revenues. And don't forget, y'all, she's still making money from that Martin show. Remember, she was on Martin from when she was younger. She's still getting checks from that. So what I'm saying is she could take some of that money that she did.
Your audio going out, Rashonda.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Okay. What I'm saying is she could take those residual checks that she getting from all those shows. Because remember, they still showing Martin. They still showing all her old shows. So she could take some of that money and put it to her business and make it better. But see, she's still depending on those housewife checks and wondering why things going like it is. But again, just because you wanna you think you don't put other people in a position to where out of spite or whatever reason you don't throw other people on the bus because you feel some type of way that your life ain't going right. And I figured I think that's what's going on. She's upset about different things, going down the tube and different things like that. And she feels like, well, dog, I ain't got no, it's either do it now or sink. And I'm like, you already done some enough. What make you think you ain't gonna sink no lower by the way you going? So I feel like if she would rebrand herself, things will get a whole lot better. And that's what she should have been doing this whole time, instead of keeping a mess and being a villain. Even though she chose to be that way, she needs to take this time to rebrand herself so she can come back out stronger and better.
Yeah. Facts. I don't think they give any checks from Martin because Tisha Campbell would have been broke. Right? It's probably not much. Yeah. Kenya, a lot of people are questioning why Kenya didn't pivot. I mean, for God's sakes, even Nene, put her foot in as many things as she could using the Housewives brand. She went on to Broadway. She went on to what's the other TV show? Not Orange is the New Black, but it was something having to do with. I think
she was Celebrity Apprentice. Like Kenya had opportunities. She did take some of those opportunities and utilize them, but the problem is that Kenya went, and everything that I've seen her be a part of, Kenya did not show any versatility, and she just took that villain role everywhere she went. You cannot. Some people, because even when you look at look at New York, Tiffany Pollard, she has a personality of in regards to her character that she plays, and she usually takes that everywhere. Play the same role, no matter what reality show she's a part of. But I have noticed that even she has softened that character's image. She's tweaked it. Kenya did not. She went on, and that's what I was saying, like her and Vivica A. Fox. And Kenya, like the same way she conducted herself on Housewives, she did the same exact thing on Celebrity Apprentice. It does not work in her favor the way that it had all of those years on Housewives. Kenya did a lot of people's dirty work for them, whether she realized it or not. A lot of her behavior when it came to Portia was basically, and she basically did that for Kandi. Even though Portia had issues in her initial introduction to us that first season on the show, but a lot of her issues with Portia after that, as much as she went after Portia, that was in support of Kandi. And the reality, because Kandi was, believe it or not, even with Nene being a part of the cast, Kandi was the queen of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Whatever it was, everybody loved her. Everybody sucked up to Kandi. Even the ones that didn't like her. Production, she was a gold mine for production. She was one of the housewives that was able. Nene branched out, of course she did, et cetera, et cetera. But Kandi had already came in with the superstar name. And so it's my opinion that Kenya came in when it came to Portia and whoever else, and she went in behind her. Look at Kandi had an issue. Her Nene didn't get along. Kenya went after Nene. I feel like in a lot of ways she was Candy's guard dog, but it was made to look subtle. Unless you paid really paid attention, it was very subtle. The people that she had an issue with was people that had an issue with Candy. And I feel like Candy, along with production, put the battery in Kenya's back, and it worked for her. As long as Candy was Team Kenya, and while Candy was on that show, Kenya had job security. Her job didn't become potentially jeopardized while Candy was there. It didn't become an issue. I think one season because she didn't tell them about her being married, and they punished her, and they brought her right back.
And you know what, Rumors? That's the only time. That's the only time I remember her husband or ex-husband Mark sticking up for her. After Bravo fired her, all I remember was Mark going on social media and saying she makes $90,000 an episode, and they needed her to carry the show for this many seasons, and they're turning their backs on her. I don't stand by this. I was like, first of all, Mark, now if Bravo pulls the behind the scene footage that they didn't air of you and Kenya, what you gonna do? Mark is a money grabber, and it kind of seemed like in some parts of the video that Kenya was doing on her YouTube, I heard a little bit of Mark in there. Like some of her points and some of her her holier than thou-ness. I was like, has she been talking to Mark? I can't prove it because I wasn't there, but I don't know if anyone else kind of wondered if Mark was involved in the production of it.
Ty, why don't you hit the link? I want T Dollar to hit the link because you feel like I think you feel like we're hating. What he did right there, we're hating on Kenya. No one's hating on Kenya. Like I said earlier, in my opinion, Kenya did do a damn good job at being the villain of the show. She did. She had to support other people that she was basically, in my opinion, she has been defending Candy ever since she came on the damn show. I don't know if Candy was paying her behind the scenes or whatever the case may be, but from the very, very first time she came onto the show, I feel like she's been defending Candy low key. She didn't have a reason to have an issue with Nene, but she created one. She knew they knew how to break up her and Cynthia's friendship, in my opinion. I know Cynthia said it was other reasons, but it just all seemed very strategic and very well planned out. Exactly what Brit had did. But it's so crazy because if y'all look at it really, it's been very damn simple. But people don't see simplicity in things. And they make everything, we as humans make everything complicated when it's very black and white.
And I feel
like,
No, and I was going to say, I really don't know what T Dollar is talking about because Nene actually got dragged and they was like trying to cancel Nene for her remarks at that comedy show. Like that was a whole thing. So if anybody has been held accountable, Nene done been held accountable. She done been fired from the show as well. She done had her ass sat down. Nene done been called out for her arrogance, her narcissism, for, you know, her being one-sided and lopsided as hell. I mean, Nene has definitely endured like the witch hunt, you know, and she's definitely been held to critique. So I'm not really sure what T Dollar is talking about in terms of like Kenya has only gotten the smoke, as if Portia ain't been flamed up over the years, as if Nene ain't been flamed up over the years, Phaedra ass been flamed up over the years. I mean, everybody done been flamed the hell up. It definitely ain't been no disproportionate crucifying of one person over the other. All of them get held accountable where the public feels there needs to be accountability at.
Mm-hmm.
I got a question.
Like
I got a question. I got a question, y'all. Do y'all think everybody's ex-husbands has still got something to do with the battery in their back? Because remember, I'm saying this for a reason. Because remember, Mark was on the show and he said at some point he didn't feel like, you know, because they had a conversation and they had it on Bravo where they was trying to say it was like a money grab. I remember that now. They was talking, him and Kenya, and they was trying to say that's why somebody asked him, "Are you on the show, to get money and stuff like that?" And
Oh,
then he
I know
told,
what you're talking about, Rashonda.
yeah,
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 you're talking about when I think he was on a show called Traders or something, or I can't remember the name of the show he was on. Kenya was on Traders, and then I think Mark, her ex-husband, got an offer to do a reality show. I can't think of the name. I didn't watch it because I didn't give a fuck. But he was asked, like, are you doing this? Did you always want publicity? Did you get with Kenya
mm-hmm,
for publicity? Yada, yada, yada. And he was like, oh,
mm-hmm,
no. Da, 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 da. And then in the same breath, he tried to block Kenya from filming their
exactly,
daughter on Bravo and only let their child be filmed on his show. Girl, I
exactly,
can't.
exactly. That's why I brought it up, because it's like, now keep in mind, even though they divorced, remember, he might still have something to do with her being on the show. That's why I said what I said. They could have had talks behind the scenes. We don't know, so she could come back on the show. Cause remember, they took her off the show for a minute.
Right,
So,
exactly.
well,
Because
then,
he
but what
put
would
up
be the
a lot
purpose?
of. Mhm.
No, I'm sorry. I
Go
wanted
ahead.
to know what would be the purpose of her then doing these press runs, damn near like begging to get back on or feel, vindicated, looking for justice or whatever her goal is. What would be the point of that? She seems to me she would just move the hell on and go do these other whatever opportunities that are waiting for her.
Yeah, no, well, we're talking about two separate things. We're talking about how Mark also like kind of took the reality TV route, and now he's also kind of trying to make his lane, and like was using Kenya like for that and stuff like that. And so, I guess back to what you're saying, if now she can't do that, then I guess that's cutting Mark's check. It's cutting like his social stimuli check or whatever, his social stimulus package, because all of the show opportunities he was getting was because Kenya was on these shows, so he was piggybacking off of her on these shows. And if she's not on these shows, where's his check coming from? The pizzeria that he owns in the Bronx? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was asking a question because, like I said, the reason why I said what I said, y'all, is because remember, she wasn't on the show for a while. You see what I'm saying? We don't know if they had, if they had.
Your audio went out, Rashonda. I'm curious to know though, while Rashonda
But
is
you get what I'm saying, though, y'all. If I'm making sense, like
your
it could
audio,
be.
the audio had went completely out.
Okay, can you now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you? Okay, what I'm saying, y'all, is it could have been talks behind the scenes, while she wasn't on the show. You see what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of stuff they don't show you on the show. You see what I'm saying? And we don't know if there's talks being done behind the scenes with the husbands, ex-husbands, ex-cast members, and different things like that. Um, Again, they want you to have a certain storyline to make it interesting. If not, they not gonna have you on there, and you won't make no money from it. So they felt, probably the production felt like she was boring, and they said, okay, we'll try to bring her back when a certain cast may be on there. You see what I'm saying? To see how this works. So if I'm making sense, um, because like you said, like you said, rumors, she's familiar with Cynthia. It's like they did a trial and run basis with her, who she would be okay with on the show. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah, and I'm trying to search the show. I'm looking on Google. I'm trying to search the show. I can't find the name of the show that Mark Daly was on. If anyone in the chat knows, maybe find it, because I just remember Kenya, there's one season she couldn't put Brooklyn on Real Housewives of Atlanta because of that. I can't remember what show or if the show even aired. Did anyone else watch it? I don't know what show Mark
I
Daly was
never even
on.
heard of it.
Yeah.
I know. I
Oh,
watched
okay. Wait a
one.
minute. I'm seeing something in my news feed. Mark Daly announces his new reality TV show. Apparently, back in 2021, it was a show about business and love. I'm not sure if it ever debuted, but apparently, he had announced that he had a new reality show about business and love that was coming out. I don't know if it ever aired though.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it aired either.
But he had something he was working on at the very least.
And then he went on the lady with the short haircut. You know who I'm talking about, Conscious. She be on she has a short haircut. It started with a T. I don't know. But anyway, him and Kenya was on there. That's why I said she was on. She went on a
Who,
talk show.
Tamara
And
Hall?
yeah, that's the show she was on. And Tamara asked him, "Are you doing this for social media, or are you trying to make some money?" So and she was just looking crazy and different things. I was like, okay, so you on national TV trying to play it off. It's like she tried to play it off like what he say is gold. You see what I'm saying? And I'm like, that's why I was wondering. I said, okay, is he still trying to put batteries in her back to try to say, okay, you ain't you going broke. You need to go and do another show. You see what I'm saying?
I don't,
If
honestly, because Bravo was, if Kenya would have stuck to just being a villain and not trying to do the most to outdo anybody, she would still be getting a consistent Bravo check. So I don't really get that.
Right. Yeah,
And I don't see the. Go ahead.
well, no, because it reminds me of something she was saying because in her video she was saying that she didn't break any revenge P things and this and that. And she said that she consulted with a lawyer in Georgia, and she said another state. And then I was thinking, like, well, how come the lawyer isn't there? How come you guys are not at a round table talking about this?
Well, it's because I know that she's conveniently leaving the part out that, as I said earlier, she might have been actually in the clear to quote unquote show the pictures because they were quote unquote publicly available pictures. The problem is she turned it into revenge corn when she demonstrated it out of being retaliatory and vindictive. So she's, trying to avoid that part of what she did. So
Well,
I can maybe even see an attorney saying, well, she signed off on the images and said, because in revenge corn cases, even if the person, like, it could be an adult film star, even if the pictures were signed off on and everything. If what makes it revenge, like, it's the reason why it's revenge corn. It doesn't take away from the fact that it's corn, even if it's legal corn. If you use that content in a way that's retaliatory against a person, that's where it can be legitimized as revenge corn. Whether the person is an actual revenge, a corn star, whether the content is legit and was legitimately produced, if it's utilized in a way to bring humiliation to a person, that makes it revenge corn.
oh, okay. I know what you're talking about, and I'm gonna give you a little bit of pushback because I felt, and I'm curious to see also what Rumors thinks about this, because I felt like when Kenya was saying in that video, she came across a point where I was like, maybe, I'm not a lawyer, but I don't know. So she was saying that if this was a video of Kim Kardashian and she shared it, then it wouldn't be any different.
Okay, but the
And Right.
The
But hold
difference
on a
and the
minute.
distinction is she keeps talking about two different false equivalencies. If you're just showing what is available, that's different from humiliating somebody with what is available. She keeps leaving out the nuance. There's nuance to this, which is what makes
Okay,
it
so
revenge
you're
porn.
saying that she's leaving
Basically.
out the part where
She's
was
doing it
using this as something
she's doing
to
it for
weaponize
retaliatory
against.
purposes. That's what makes it revenge porn. It doesn't matter. The other logistics don't matter. What defines it as revenge porn is the intent, the malicious, humiliating intent behind disseminating that content or presenting that content, and that's what Kenya Moore did. That's why
And
she
that's
said.
something that popped up into
That's why she
my
said.
mind.
That's why she
That's
said.
something
Look at
that
this
popped up.
career. She said. I think she said something equivalent to look at this career hoe, and was putting all of that content on blast to bring shame to Brit. And that's
Well,
why
I'll
she
tell
blew
you
the
something
kiss,
that
blew the
conscious. I'll
kiss,
tell you
and basically
something that
said,
popped
"This is
up
why
in
you
my
don't fuck
mind
with."
too when I was watching it. Is like because right now when you look at the media, the revenge P case is going on with Megan Milagro, and so when I heard Meg, or I'm not Meg, when I heard Kenya talk about the fact
And
that
if a deep fake video can be considered revenge porn, how much more does actual footage presented
right,
in a
and
malicious
so
way?
then that's why when I was watching it, because I'm not a lawyer, but when I was watching it, I was
And you
looking
don't
at
even have to
those
be a lawyer. Like all
those two
all of the laws are on
comparisons.
the books. Yeah, all of the laws are on the books. I be bringing up the laws even when we be covering the Megan Thee Stallion case. Like the laws are on the books. All people got to do is literally read on what is revenge porn. I mean, it's literally laid out. It's not really rocket science. Kenya Moore just did not. She got completely big headed because she thought because these pictures were on Google or on some site that it was okay. She did not.
So
She did not.
do you
What
think
she
Kenya
didn't.
is looking at
What she
it?
didn't. What she didn't talk to Phaedra or her attorney about was if I use this in a malicious way, is it going to be a problem? She only sat down with an alleged local attorney to ask, was it okay to use these images because they are publicly available? She forgot to ask the part about the way she was going to use those, the way she was going to utilize that content.
And you know what, guys and ladies, what's crazy is the fact that she's always called Portia a airhead, a dummy, da 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 da. You would have thought common sense would have been for her. She said she talked to an attorney. Why did she not speak to multiple attorneys? When have you known a professional person not seek the counsel of multiple attorneys or professionals when it comes to something of this magnitude? She clearly knew that there was some type of ramifications could have possibly taken place if she had did this, pulled this junkie stunt, hence her allegedly speaking to an attorney, seeking legal advice. Why would she not have sought the legal advice of more than one attorney? Who's really the airhead?
Right, and better yet, why she if her and Phaedra kind of cool, why she didn't?
But they not, her and Pedro are not cool. And that's why I called it a whole lie
You
from the
know, Phaedra
beginning. I
loyal.
don't
It
believe
don't
people.
even.
Okay, so hold on, y'all. Before you go any further, because this is not LeVar Burton. I'm not LeVar Burton, and this is not the motherfucking Reading Rainbow for the people in the bike, like Cook in the comment section, who wants to tell me that I'm actually incorrect. Okay, here it is, baby, and hopefully you can believe your own eyes. Revenge porn is revealing or sexually explicit images or videos of a person posted on the internet, typically, but not limited to by a former sexual partner without the consent of the subject and in order to cause what class? Distress
And
and
embarrassment.
embarrassment. Next case. Continue on, ladies.
Mm-hmm. But that's what I'm saying. Like I don't believe she sought out legal counsel. I don't. because even with that, there's no way. Well, it is possible. You got some airhead attorneys out here. Maybe the person, if she did by chance giving her the benefit of the doubt, maybe that person told her what she claims they said because they knew that then she would need their legal services to represent her in a case of the revenge porn. However, I just don't believe that she ever sought legal counsel. I think she probably Googled some stuff and thought she had the answers and thought, well, nothing is going to happen because she's been bad behaving to this, not to this extreme as far as releasing images and things of that nature, but she still have up until that point been bad behaving to somewhat that extreme anyway. So I don't think she thought anything was going to happen to her at that point, because even though Brit was coming at her,
she literally keeps doubling down on why she thought she was okay. She really thought because the pictures were online, that it was because it was in a public domain, because they were accessible, that there would not be no problem. That's literally why she thought it was okay to do.
Right.
Now, what's interesting is that Kenya knew to some degree she could be liable for something, which is what may have even caused her to even want to consult an attorney. Because why would you consult an attorney if you're really under the guise and the belief that there's no liability in what you're doing? Why would you even bring an attorney into the group chat at all if this is okay? So the fact that Kenya even conceived of quote unquote consulting an attorney, which to your point, Rumors, I'm also leaning more so toward the fact that she didn't. I think this is all the aftermath of Kenya trying to like control the narrative and trying to make her shit make sense. I don't think she consulted with any goddamn body. I don't think she consulted with any goddamn attorney. And even if she had consulted with a goddamn attorney, it's clear that what she left out of that conversation is the nature in which she was going to utilize these images. She only covered her grounds at face value, which is, hey, this stuff is explicit, but it is online. Is this okay? Like, if I were to show someone this, would this be okay? Turn like, yeah, She felt to nuance that conversation and say, I'm gonna put this bitch on blast with these pictures, honey. Is that okay? I'm gonna try to invoke trauma into this lady with these images. Is that okay?
Conscious, she could have legitimately, honestly, even though I don't feel like she should have gone there anyway, but if she was so intent on going that way, she shouldn't have debuted it at her salon opening. That's number one. Number two, she could have set up created an event where she could have, had young people, young adults, young girls, distraught, whatever, and she could have had a whole damn summit. Even though the intention behind it was to expose Brit, would have been to expose Brit, but she could have done it in that way where it would not have came off looking. She could have masked the ill intentions. You understand what I'm saying?
There are really, some really weird people in the chat who are literally just like, if y'all would for 2 seconds take your head out of a pussy that you're never going to be in to begin with, you would actually be able to have some grounded rebuttal and some grounded feedback in the situation. Even the remarks that Brit could sue, the key word here is, the operative word here is could sue. You do know that lawsuits are preference, right? Which means that people pick and choose if they want to take up a legal action with someone, which means that there are situations where people have the literal right and grounds to do so and forfeit doing that, either because it's going to inconvenience their time, inconvenience their coin, or because they're satisfied with whatever reprimanding took place. And in this case, it's clear common sense that Brit would not sue Kenya because Bravo rectified and remedied the issue by firing Kenya. So what would be the benefit now of Brit taking up a civil suit and putting forth her time and her money to win a case against a person she's already got her ultimate lick back by getting this bitch up out of her job and her career altogether, which is really the ultimate lick back? So yes, Brit could sue, but just because she didn't sue doesn't imply that there was no crime committed. Brit would have to be the one to decide what her preference is in terms of how she handled the situation. So she's clearly satisfied with the way it was handled, because it was handled, which is why Kenya is out of a job and y'all are windmilling for her life down there in the comment section. because y'all are pressed about the consequences and repercussions.
Yeah, I feel like
And I think
Kenya.
that,
Go
go ahead,
ahead.
Miss Rashonda.
You can go. You can go ahead. You can go
No,
ahead.
go ahead, Miss Rashonda.
No, what I was saying is Kenya is like she wants to be the only one to be able to, you know, have a say so in the show. Um, and the reason why I say that is because most of everybody left, if you pay attention. And they got other shows they want to do and different things they want to do. And now that everybody's gone, okay, you know what I'm saying, I have a right to say and do how I feel. And she got too comfortable. That's what I'm saying. Like, just because you've been on the show for the longest, I don't care what the situation is, you don't have a right to say and do certain things when you know you got a cease and desist and different things that you have signed on the show to agree with what they're doing far as a show. Now, if you like, again, if you had your own show, you would have your own rules, but they have certain rules about what you should be doing and shouldn't do. And it's like she the boundaries that were set, she crossed them. And she felt like, okay, well, I've been on here long, it's certain things that I can get away with. People will do stuff for so long until they get caught. So
And like
she
she
ain't
said, she also gave us another bit of information when she kept bringing up the fact that other housewives from other franchises done did similar things. So Kenya
that
literally
part.
was like, I'm just like, Kenya. At the end of the day, even if other women got away with it, sis, the real question here is why. Out of all things you could have gagged Brit about, because Brit never exposed Kenya. She was just getting on Kenya's last nerve. She was just getting on her last nerve. So why, as a woman, would you even retaliate against another woman this way? Because your daughter could grow up to be in a situation just like Brit. Everybody has a cell phone, sis. And I'm sure that your daughter isn't going to remain a virgin for the rest of her life. And God forbid, she ends up intimate with some boyfriend, fiance, or husband and allows herself to be captured, or hell, unbeknownst to her, is captured in a compromising position. Are you going to stand behind another bitch who's an op to your daughter, weaponizing those images? No matter what, no, you wouldn't. Sit the fuck down. Like, it was out of order, and I was glad that every other woman stood on business, including her friends like Cynthia, and checked her. Because they all know that this is a situation that they all could be in. It's a situation that any of their daughters could be in. Cynthia has daughters.
I got a question.
Portia
I
is
got
a
a
woman.
question.
Portia has a daughter.
I got a question though. Then she used to do porn, y'all. I mean, not, I'm sorry, corn. Then she used to do that. I'm sorry, I had to correct myself. Then she used to do that. I remember
Who is she?
seeing her.
Who? Which one,
Kenya.
girl? We all
Kenya.
No,
Kenya.
no,
No.
Kenya. I'm
no.
telling you. Are you sure?
She might have did
Positive.
some adult things in the bedroom, but no, she's never done adult entertainment. No.
Okay,
You
I'm
probably
just
thinking that they call it soft. They call it soft on when it's really not that. She had the movie Torque and all of that, where they
yeah.
it had
Oh,
some
so
It wasn't
yeah.
really it wasn't but
Back
yeah,
in the
she's
day
never
when you
been
look
on
real
soft.
sexy and you in a soapy bathtub and whatever, they
She
consider
has
that
been
porn.
she has been a video vixen though.
But I'm saying that for a reason, because people could take those pictures, even with that, people could doctor those pictures up and make her look to be a bad person. So you got to be careful when you do stuff. You know what I'm saying? People take pictures all the time and doctor them up and say, well, this person, she did this and that. So you
Well,
get what
I
I'm
feel
saying?
like within 2 or 3 years, Kenya's gonna be back on Bravo. I think that Bravo
Yeah.
standards are
I've
coming
been saying
down
it's only a temporary
fast.
suspension. It's only a temporary suspension, child. They're not gonna let Kenya go. They're gonna let her sit out a few seasons to satisfy the situation, to appease the outrage. Brit probably won't even still be on the season when they bring Kenya back, and life will go on. But people got to remember, Brit early on when this was happening, before the season even aired last year, she was threatening legal suit. So Bravo had to do what they needed to do, because Brit would have had an actual claim, and she definitely would have got a bag up out of Bravo, because Kenya Moore committed an actual crime.
Yeah, like people don't understand. Like it says, and what's weird to me, how everybody felt with just accusations, even though we know that's defamatory. How everybody was so Team Candy, just for the allegations to be put out there. Kenya actually presented like physical proof, and y'all were okay with Bravo doing the right thing by firing Phaedra, but y'all livid at the fact that they doing the right thing by firing Kenya. I think, of course, I would love to see. I don't believe that Bravo reprimanded Brit, but again, Bravo didn't reprimand Kenya when she showed the weapon on TV and made, her indirect threat or whatever the case may be. So, in looking at things from a fair standpoint, I do feel like there should have been that Brit should have been reprimanded, but I believe Kenya should have been reprimanded all those years ago. The fact that she feels as though she's bigger than any reprimanding on her behalf just shows how much of, how large her ego is and how much of a narc she is, because there's no way that she should feel like, well, I got a pass, so she shouldn't get a pass. You're only feeling the way you're feeling because for the first time in your history on Bravo, there has been someone successfully able to do to you what you've done to others, and you wasn't prepared. You didn't know how to navigate through that, how to battle that. You couldn't defeat. Like, think about that. You said it earlier. She pulled the Kenya on the Kenya. Kenya did not know how to handle her own junkie stunts. She never thought anyone would be able to successfully weaponize them against her. This caught her off guard, and so she reacted in a way that clearly showed she didn't have the wherewithal to counteract someone like herself. She should now, instead of humbling herself, which she needs to do, she should now know how it feels, how everyone else has felt in dealing with her all of these damn years on that show. And it should humble her at this point, but I see that it hasn't.
And see, if they let her back on the show, say for instance she sits out for a couple of years, okay, a couple seasons. If she get back on it, she gonna keep doing the same thing. You got people that literally don't think there's nothing wrong with what they do, because she been getting away for it so long. She gonna keep continuing to do it.
But I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think she's gonna come back and do it again if they bring her back on. I'm not gonna say she's gonna come back and pretend and play the role of an angel or whatever. But I definitely think that the longer she sits out and once she realizes, because see, in my opinion, the reason why she did this little live that she did or whatever, I believe it's because there are people that are still standing in support of her. A lot of people aren't understanding two things can be true at the same time, and because we have not seen the recommended on Bravo's into Brit, a lot of people are upset, and I can understand that. I feel some kind of way about it too. However, this is all going to die down eventually, and once it dies down, or whatever the case may be, I believe that she's going to be served some very humble pie. I still believe that when she comes back, she's going to. I just don't think she's going to come back being the Kenya she was before she left. She will eventually. It's going to take time for her to get humble. Because remember, she was so when they suspended her because she kept the marriage a secret before she got that suspension. You remember how arrogant she was. She didn't feel the need to. She wasn't going to talk about this. She wasn't going to do this. She wasn't going to do that. But as soon as they brought her ass back, what did she do? Mark ass came on the show. She discussed the marriage, etc., etc. It fell to shits after that, but she did it. And Bravo does have a way of humbling all of their asses. The only person so far I haven't seen humbled is Phaedra.
I've seen her.
But all the rest of them, huh?
I mean, she was definitely humble as a result of being fired. Like, she was gone for a long time.
No, I'm talking about still coming back and being typical Phaedra. Phaedra is still Phaedra, the character that she plays and all of that. It has not changed. She ain't softened it. She ain't trying to detour it. her character is still the same on every damn show that she's been a part of with Bravo and everything else. She's still Phaedra.
She's a
But what I'm
disgusting
saying,
soul is what it is with her. Like, it's something dark and some nasty. Like, you know, in the South, it's nice nasty. But I think it's deeper than nice nasty with her. It's
Phaedra
like
has also
something.
calmed down a lot. She definitely don't got that thing. Like, she don't got that anymore that she used to have. She really plays the background and just kind of is a prop and a mannequin.
I don't see that, but I've always felt like she's the character she plays. I don't see no difference in it. I really don't. But I do believe Kenya is going to, when she does come back, she is going to be humble a lot. And I want that for her, but I really just want her to do her own thing. Like you really have the potential to be a bigger boss bitch than you claim to know that you're a boss bitch, this and the third. But the codependency for Bravo and to Bravo is really like, it really takes me back to like what happened, what really is going to hell on. And the only thing I could think of is the financial instability. I'm not saying that she's broke. However, I do believe that she lost a lot of money during her battle for the divorce. These lawyers ain't damn it cheap. And I think that man really knew what the hell he was doing, is why he drug it out in court to put her in a place of desperation, to fuck with her psyche or whatever. And that's what I see, because I don't understand why she just wasn't able to see what Brit was doing and maneuver that shit and turn the fucking tables without going to this extreme. I don't get that. But she wasn't able to. All right, guys, I enjoyed talking to y'all. I'm going down in the chat.
Yes, y'all. This was a great show. I have to bounce as well. Thank you guys for pulling up on the panel. Kenya Moore ass is gone with the wind, baby, and done ended up in the goddamn unemployment line. Child, make it make goddamn sense. But Kenya Moore will probably be back. Hopefully, she'll be back stronger, honey. She can pivot from here. The fans don't want to see Brit ass back either, so hopefully her ass is gone after this season, child. And in all honesty, the show can just really conclude, girl. It really is just existing on fumes at this damn point. So yeah, you know, I'm a believer that let things go out on a high note. Okay, rather than trying to squeeze everything you can get up out of a situation and reducing it to damn ashes and ruins and destroying its legacy before it can even you know, so that before it has a chance to live on, baby, in greatness, child. You know, leave shit to be desired. All right, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Thank you guys for being here. If you guys enjoyed yourself, once again, subscribe if you're new here, share the content out, send it to Kenya Moore ass as well, baby, so she can get this work. And if you enjoyed yourself, definitely show some love to the Cash App, $Consciouztv, and or PayPal.me/Consciouztv. Email me auditor@consciouztv@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram. Sign up to the Patreon, and I will also see you guys later. Peace.